everybody, welcome. It is Thursday night. Actually, I just hope that I didn't get that word in.
Shit. I mean, damn. Coconuts.
Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday night. It is the Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4. Basically, our Camaro V8 league this evening. I know the guys have got onto the track. We are just busy during their qualifying, so we will be able to jump in there right away. Ashley is with us while he's driving, so hopefully that's works out for him. To everyone who's joined us, yes, that is Santosh like everyone as well as right. And the strongest one there. Yes. Welcome to our viewers. Well and fit. Unfortunately, we did miss our racing last week. We are back this year. And we're bringing you a sprint format. It looks like the guys have actually battled to get some lap times down, and it seems that the only person, there's 3 drivers that have got a lap down, so that's going to make things extremely interesting. Ash, did you yourself weren't you able to get a lap time?
No, and I'm concentrating really hard now just to get this lap in with not much time left on the clock. It's going to be very, very close.
Kijk, ik heb niet genoeg van die community card. That workman.
drivers that have got a lap actually still on a good run here, as well as Craig, Duncan, Connor, so he hasn't been able to get that in.
We're not going to make it. Oh my word. I just realised there's just not enough time left on the clock.
So guys, how we set this up is the drivers essentially have one lap to get themselves out. And it's generally a flyer, so they all can see the mountain pressure that they go. 38 seconds as actually comes out to number 15 down at the speed. Watch him go through 130 bar and actually going flat or going to be lifting.
Well, I have to lift here. There's just not enough grip to. Ooh. No! Not gonna make it. No, surely he's got to take this lap into consideration.
Well, let's see, you are approaching the start-finish line. And
No!
Brandon, just let me know if that's better for you, unless I've turned this around wrong.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Brandon, come in. Brandon, do you hear me? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Only 4 drivers managed to get themselves onto the pit, onto the standings, and be qualified for a lap. So Morris out in front, Sly Pete in second with Duppy in third, James in fourth, Jakes in 5th place, Ashton 6th, Nerdmaster 7th, Craig 8th, Duncan 9, Connor 10, and Ronaldo down in 11th position.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to help my race this evening. I'm actually really disappointed with myself. I made a slight little error. Just went over onto the curve, and yeah, that really ruined it. And now I'm looking ahead of me, and I can see I've got James ahead of me, and he's going to be a tough competitor to get past.
So I can't get out of the cameras just yet. But what will happen is they are going to be doing a short run up to the line, but they won't be racing just yet. They'll then will do one full lap. And I hope everybody remember that.
I totally forgot about that.
And then they will get into the formation lap, and the reason being is because for the next race the top 6 will do a reverse grid, and by doing that reverse grid the guys will be able to get themselves into the correct positions. Shane Sampson has joined us saying let's go SARCO flat out. Shane, welcome back, man. Glad to see that you still want to see what we're up to. Shane used to drive with us a couple of seasons ago, but did have to just retire due to some personal reasons. But we do hope that you get back behind the wheel, Shane. Always lucky to have you racing with us. Well, that looks like that was the start of the race there.
No, I think everybody's just realised now. They must have. Otherwise, you're going to have to restart the server. I have a very sick feeling that they've started the race.
so maybe a little restart is in order, but yes, that's just so dangerous because it's just going to mix up all the... But it's not the right format, so unfortunately we are going to have to restart.
Are you going to restart it, Dylan?
Yeah. So now if you just want to see whether you can't talk to the guys in the actual game chat itself.
No. My mic is muted for some stupid reason. Oh yeah, did you just remove the...
Yep. So what I've done is I've just taken out the practice and the qualifying. I've just made it to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just so that it gives enough the drivers enough time to get into the lobby. Then we'll go into the correct formation.
Yeah, I think on the driver's briefing, we need to have that little 5-minute window again, I think, just to get the guys in. Guys, remember we have to do a rolling start, a manual rolling start, so we've started the server, so we can start again. Well, that's what we did the last race. Nothing's changed.
Green light, go, go, go.
We did.
We did.
From the running start, the second race is in the formation. So are we going to take the formation? Shit, I can't do that. I don't understand why we stop now.
Right, guys, so we are just recommunicating back to the drivers. It is now clear that there is the short formation lap takes them to the line, and then from there they then have technically a formation lap. And the reason we're doing it that way is because of the second race. We don't want to have one race starting a different way compared to the other, because that will definitely cause confusion. Whereas if you both set both the races to start the same, there's not much more confusion. She's even Daniel War Machine Morales, he's joined us. He says, Ek is hier om kokenete te kodeer. So that is very, very interesting that our American international has decided to bring the Afrikaans style.
Thirty seconds.
30 seconds.
Shit, I can't remember what my tire pressure.
20 seconds. 10 seconds.
Okay, while we're just waiting for the guys to do their formation lap, we can just have a look at some of the comments coming through. Johan VDV saying, you can do it. How many cars on track? Well, we did have 11. We are down to 9, it seems. But with a 20-minute sprint race, we'll be able to still get some really, really cool, interesting action. And Johan VDV saying, go, Ashley, go.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jan.
Still can't change the camera just yet.
Come see. Please pass me.
Hey guys, you have to start normally. So start.
Green light, go, go, go.
So guys are still on their rolling lap, and just looking at the 9 drivers that are here, it seems that we are missing Jakes, and it doesn't seem that Ronaldo has been able to come back to us. So we are down to 9, but that leaves Ashley, Duppy, Marius, Duncan, Pete, Nidmaster, Craig and Connor. Just knowing that there was only 4 drivers that managed to get themselves across the start finish line and put in a valid lap, and that was how we were able to get the qualifying underway. So now we are starting to see the drivers in their positions. Now exiting out of the spoon, turn number 14. They're now going to head down this extremely long back straight into turn number 15, which is a 130R, and then into the Casino Triangle, that crazy chicane right at the back of the track, before going down the last curve towards the start finish line.
Right, everybody ready, in position.
So we heard the call coming from Morris just to make sure that everybody was in their positions, because he'll now lead them towards the start finish line, and he will give them a call to say that he has crossed the line and ready to be racing.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So that's Morris now giving them the green light to go. So Morris is away out in front with Pete in second. Duppy's in third, but a little move there to the inside by James. So he goes up into third place, going into turn number 1. Now they'll head in through the S's. So it's through turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back up towards a Dunlop curb. Definitely one of my favorite corners here on the track. So now on the Dunlop curb, and it looks like Morris is away, and that James is in a third place. There goes Pete in a second. Then it is Ashley's managed to get himself up into third. So movement there by Ashley, which is really awesome to see. Duppy now down into fourth with James in fifth. Nerdmaster is 6th, Duncan 7th, Craig in 8th, and Connor down in 9th place. There seems to be a spin up at the hairpin at turn number 11. And that is Craig now starting to get closer and closer to Nerdmaster as they go into the corner. A little touch of the brakes on the outside, touch of the grass on the outside. So James is going to run himself a little bit wide there as he comes back. He makes contact with, I think that Craig is away with Connor. The drivers, they will just have to cross the split, and it will update the current positions to see who is in that blue car. So it is indeed a Nerdmaster where the contact was made. But now we jump back to the front, and actually getting a whole lot of pressure here by Pete as they go down into turn number 19. And Morris starting to pull a little bit of a gap ahead of the drivers behind him. And Ashley right behind Pete with Duppy still not out of it just yet. He's in 4th position. So we still do have a bit of a race on here this evening. So Pete taking a lot of curb there as he went up into turn number 4. So Pete's starting to lose a little bit of that pressure that he was able to put onto the back of Ashley. But now we've got Craig side by side with Duncan. That was very, very close. But Craig has been able to go around the outside of Duncan. And he's now got his teammate Connor right behind him. So Connor looking to apply that pressure onto our British international. Little look to the outside as he goes a little bit deeper. But that is Craig, it goes a little bit deep. And Connor's been able to follow Duncan out of the hairpin at turn number 11. So lots and lots of heated action here on the brakes. And Connor still trying to find a way around cutting beef. But still no way for him. Connor a little bit wide on the exit of the spoon. Connor wide there through the 130R. Now into the chicane is a little bit too deep there. That might give Connor a run on him if he gets a good exit. And as you can see, he's right on that rear bumper. So Connor's definitely going to get a little bit of a tow down the main straight. And he should be able to set himself up as Connor makes that move to the inside. Duncan just weaves ever so slightly. But Connor is able to get himself past, and Connor now up into, I'll say 6th place, but he runs himself wide. And they come back onto the track, and Connor and Duncan into the wall there. So that is extremely unfortunate to see with Connor rejoining the track. Did not see how close Duncan was to him, and the two of them went off. So only 13 minutes left to go of this first heat, and already the times are starting to open up. But Ashley 1.3 seconds behind Mario, so he's still not out for a shot there. Then we've got Pete in a 3rd place, and messages coming through from Taryn saying, "Go slide Pete." 3 hearts there. That's so cute, Taryn. Well done. Supporting the hubby. Then Duppy, who had a little move on there earlier on, but unfortunately James was able to get ahead of him into that first corner, and it just seemed that Duppy's been able to keep those laps going consistent and just opening up that gap between himself and Craig. And I just want to see whether Craig will be able to start closing up later on in this race. But you're riding those curbs on the exit of the 130R. It always is nerve-wracking watching the drivers making use of those curbs. Even though they are a little bit more forgiving here in Assetto Corsa, anything can still happen. So race leader Mario C crosses the line and begins his 4th lap. That gap that was 1.3 seconds is now opened up to 2 seconds. So he is starting to just give himself a little bit more breathing space between himself and Ashley in 2nd place. When Morris makes a little bit of a mistake, he gets himself up onto the dirt. and that's going through turn number 6, so I'm sure Ashley will be watching that quite closely, and hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of that.
We are halfway through, keep pushing.
So I'm keeping my eye on the battle between Duppy and Craig. And Craig is starting to close up that gap now. It was about 2.2 seconds, so it is definitely coming down. And Craig getting nicely through the hairpin. That's definitely going to help his chances closing up there. But I see that now we've got James, Duncan and Connor, the three of them getting close again. And you can just see the contact on the side of James's car. So it looks like he has had a coming together, as well as Duncan, and it will definitely have that damage on the left of Connor's car. And there you can see those scratches as Connor gets a really good exit out of the spoon, and he sets himself up right behind James as they head to turn number 15. We did hear Ashley earlier on saying that he definitely does lift through here, and you just saw that nose of James's car just dipping down. I wonder whether he's just tapping that brakes, getting the nose down, helping him get the turn in. Very aggressive on the curbs there is Connor, but it has helped him close up that gap between himself and James. And now Connor will get himself into the position as he was a little bit earlier. But still too far away to make a move around the outside. But now we've got Craig and Duppy. So Craig going ahead of Duppy there. So Craig now up into 4th place. So I'm almost wondering whether Craig was able to get himself ahead of Duppy side by side, coming out of the first corner and setting himself up on the inside for the second corner as he goes wide, just touching the dirt on the outside. It will slow him up just a little bit, and now you can see how much momentum Duppy has been able to carry and close up that gap. They'll head under the bridge and come up through the kink at turn number 10, then on the brakes turn number 11 into this hairpin. Duppy just having a little show to the inside, but not close enough to have a dive. But there is more heated action happening further down, and that is between James and Connor really trying to find his way around James. We did have James join us in the F400 karting series. He did drive in the delivery or parcel cart with Peter Brunt, and our invitational driver, the delivery or parcel was Peter Brunt and Mikhail Patemba, as Connor tries to go around the outside. Apologies, Connor has made that move stick, and James now down into 9th position. So while Duppy has been overtaken by Craig, that gap is still within a second. So Duppy is still putting up a bit of a fight here, not letting Craig get away. So Duppy making up 1/10 since going past the previous sector time. But now Connor setting himself up to take on Duncan, as Connor goes a little bit wide there once again. I think just carrying too much speed into the first corner. But now it's generally single file through as Duncan kicks up the dirt on the inside of turn number 3. Connor nice and tight through turn number 6. Now he'll go up into the Dunlop curve, Definitely one of my favorite sections is now going into turns number 8. Just a little tap of the brake, gear down, get that car turned in, then hard on the brakes, down to second gear, get the car rotated once again, then on that power. There's a shot there of James going a little bit too deep in the background there. 6 minutes left to go, and Connor braking on the outside. But I must say it's been pretty interesting here between Morris, our race leader, and Ashley, as we see the silverback colors going past there, and Ashley in his NASCAR colors. 1.2 seconds is the gap there, 5.5 minutes to go. So we might just get 3 laps in. So Connor has been able to get himself ahead of Duncan. Duncan down in 8th place now. And I must say that Nerdmaster has had a pretty quiet race in 6th place. And if the positions stay as they are, is that he will find himself in pole position and leading this pack for the second heat. So Marius, the race leader, is not the race leader anymore because Ashley has got himself ahead of Marius. And there goes Ashley in 1st place. So he's been able to get himself ahead of Marius. I'm not sure whether Marius made a mistake because I didn't see the timings change. We were busy watching the guys further down. Maybe we can go to Ashley. Ashley, did Morris make a mistake there?
Yeah, unfortunately made a little mistake going through the first couple of corners. And I'm quite relieved to see him behind me. But the race is not over yet. The tyres are getting a bit grubby.
Well, 3.5 minutes left. You've only got 2 more laps. And the race will be done. So there's 7 seconds behind Morris. That is Sly Pete in 3rd place. The 777 car for the Rough Riders as Craig in the background goes a little bit wide. So in shot is Connor down in 7th place, and he unfortunately 3.8 seconds away from Nidmaster. I don't think that he will have enough time. There will be this lap plus 1 more, so the race will go to 9 laps. And the gap between Ashley and Morris is starting to open up just a little bit. 1.8. You can see Morris kicking up a bit of dirt there going into turn number 9. But we understand how formidable opponent Morris is. You can see he's actually closed up a little bit of that time, so we'll see once they cross the split on the back straight whether Morris has closed up that time of that 1.8 seconds. And Craig, he too putting some pressure on the back of Sly Pete. Craig now 1.7 seconds is the gap there. So Ashley will cross the split time and now. And that gap is now 1.3 seconds. So Morris was able to take out a half a second in that sector. So Ashley has got one lap to hang on, and he'll take his first heat win here at Suzuka.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
So there's that confirmation for Ashley on the final lead lap. So just under 1.5 seconds, and in shot is Morris. Trying to pressurize the driver ahead of him. We'll go through a Dunlop curve, then through turn number 8. Ashley attacks the curbs, as so does Morris. So Ashley has got 5 corners left, 1.3 seconds. We'll tap for the gear, get the car down second, let the car rotate straight back on that power. So 3 more corners for Ashley. He goes through the Casio corner. What's a casino? And Ashley will take the first heat here this evening at Suzuka, with Morris in a second place. Pete will come home in a third, with Craig right behind him in a fourth place. Dupi will finish in 5th position, with Connor in 6th, Duncan in 7th, and then Nidmaster. Looks like Nidmaster has crashed and gone into the wall. So guys, that was the first heat done and dusted. We will be going into a 5-minute qualifier again, which is basically just the holding lobby for the guys,
Well done,
just to get themselves
I can kick myself for that mistake.
and then we'll get into a formation lap once again.
I suppose I... But... I don't understand what happened to all the people that we supposed to rush.
Ja, 11. Sure, well done, Ashley. Fast, mate.
Okay, Connor is going to be in pole, and then Dupi second, Craig third, Pete fourth, Marius fifth. ACC. I think there's going to be a 5-minute quali now where we can quickly take a wee. Yeah.
Green light. Give it all you got.
So actually, now that we are just waiting for the second heat to begin, you are going to be starting in 6th place. What is your strategy for this heat?
Just try to finish ahead of Marius, because he's currently leading the championship, and we can just close that gap a little bit, and that will definitely help. But I think it's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be at night, so the tyre temperatures will drop a little bit, and it's going to make it, if the guys haven't prepared and they haven't got all their ducks in a row, they might be battling in the second race.
Yeah, I do believe that with the colder temperature, the tires are going to be a little more slidey. And also, now that it's at the dark, if you had any kind of brake marker that was on the track, it ain't there anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be exceptionally difficult to find your braking points and those apexes. I also noticed that some of the apexes are sort of covered in tire marks, which almost makes it completely invisible when you take the apex and then suddenly you realize you're on top of it. So yeah, that's definitely going to make life interesting. But for the first couple of laps I'll be following the majority of the pack, so it's going to be really interesting to try to get past guys.
I am seeing a little message on our Discord from Nidmaster to Connor saying, what was that? You need to leave room. So I'm pretty sure there might be some sort of investigation coming in, because we did see Nidmaster on the side of the track. So I'm sure that there's still more to come from.
Connor doing his famous rib cracking.
I believe that you're talking out of personal
experience.
Personal
yes.
experience, indeed.
On a warm-up lap, I was taken out by my teammate. It suffered a rib injury as a direct result of his reckless driving.
But we need to treat him as innocent until proven guilty.
No, exactly. Sorry, Connor, you'll never let that worry go. I'll never let that worry down.
So maybe it's not a good idea to invite him for a F400 season.
No, he's actually a very good kart once he's got a clear track in front of him.
Once he's gone past the green flag and he's racing, it's just getting to him is dangerous.
Yeah.
So Ash, unfortunately I don't have my timer up. How much time do we have?
So we've got 1 minute left.
Perfect.
Just about.
So here we go, getting ready for the second heat.
Right.
In fifth, Morris.
Why is the race 10 o'clock?
No, it's,
30 seconds.
eh? No, it's 22 minutes, isn't it? Where do you see 10 o'clock?
Oh,
20 seconds. Seconds.
So just a reminder, guys, it is a short formation lap to the line, then get into positions.
so I must be behind Ashley.
No, in front of Ashley.
In front, Morris. Oh, come on, you can stay. Go beyond me.
I went and did it again.
Call it Whitney.
No, I was playing with the controls to change the cameras, and I did not save them the last time. No, that one. That one. There we go.
Green light. Give it all you can.
There we go. Now we can go back here.
Actually, you must go a little bit slower, eh? So the people can go fast.
Yeah, I am. I'm in first gear. I just wanted to spread the field a bit.
So one thing I'm seeing is that the lights don't really illuminate the track, so that's going to make it extremely tricky for those drivers to be seeing exactly what they are going to be aiming for. Really do like that little green trim on Connor's pink and blue car.
Morris, you're in fifth, eh?
So Connor will be leading the way with Duppy in second, Craig is third, Sly Pete in fourth, Marius fifth, Ashley is sixth, then Duncan in seventh, and Nidmaster in eighth position.
Morris, you need to get ahead of me. I think Morris is so used to winning races. He wants to start in sixth position. That's fine.
Can you guys hear me? Can you all you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marius, can you hear me? Marius? Can somebody tell Marius he's in the wrong position?
Everybody up. Oh, you can do it at the straight.
Okay.
So that was just a confirmation of Connor making sure that everybody could hear him. So as he gets going, he will be able to give everybody the go ahead.
Marius coming.
There we go. So Morris says,
Go, go, go!
still the confusion there for Morris starting in 6th place. But I'm sure here he'll figure it out that he is starting in the wrong position to the benefit of Ashley, I'm pretty sure. So Connor looks like he's going to be dragging this out as long as he can.
3, 2, 1, go!
So we're racing heat number 2. And man oh man, that lap took 4 minutes to get done. So that was quite a long one. But it does look like everybody is through turn 1 quite safely. And this is why we have decided to go with this rolling start format, because it just seems off the line. The guys just get too close. There's too many people trying to win the race into the first couple of corners, and it never ends off well. So we've got our race winner for heat number 1, putting a lot of pressure on the back of Sly Pete. We'll have a look to the inside here. It's very difficult to go too wide as that car gets a little bit unsteady taking the curb, but you can see how close it is in the back there between Ashley, Marius and Pete. Can Ashley have a dive to the inside? Marius might have a look. Oh, there's Pete feeling that pressure, so he's outbraked himself, allowing both Marius and Ashley to go through, and it looks like that Cutting Beef has been able to sneak his way through there as well. So that would be 3 places that Sly Pete has now lost. Watching the cars behind in the mirrors, and Duppy in a 2nd place with Craig in 3rd. Duppy currently in a Yugi Fugly sandwich. And then as they cross the sector time, you can see all the positions updating. So Ashley back up into 4th place, Morris is in 5th, Duncan in 6th, Pete 7th, and Nidmaster in 8th position. So Connor will cross the line, which is effectively the first lap now completed. Starting to open up more than just under 1.5 seconds between himself and Duppy, as Craig is now under pressure from Ashley, and Marius is coming along for the ride. They enter into the S's. So Craig just touching the dirt on the outside. That's going to slow him up, and Craig's going to leave enough space there on the inside, but that's going to put Ashley on the outside. Ashley goes around the outside and moves himself up into 3rd place. That was extremely brave.
No, it didn't work.
And there's that confirmation. You can see Craig now going past. So he was able to hang on to that but very bold there for Ashley to stick the car around the outside.
No, I knew if, because Craig is such a Lewis Hamilton fan, that he would just taking me out like Verstappen.
Oh my gosh, and so the rivalry will continue. So Morris definitely being pulled along here, as Duppy will now be able to see Ashley, Craig, Morris and Duncan in the rearview mirrors. So Morris nice and tidy on the brakes. Ooh, big jump off the curb there for Ashley. That might just give Morrison a little bit of an advantage coming down the start finish line as Connor begins lap number 3. And you can see Craig getting right up behind Duppy now, 0.7 of a second, and then less than half a second behind is Ashley, who has got Morris half a second behind him. So within 2 seconds we've got Duppy being chased by Craig, Ashley and Morris. And this has always been the beauty about having that reverse grid, is that the guys that won from the first heat have to work hard and make their way back up the order. As Connor, he has a little bit of a wide one there, going a little bit wide there, going into turn number 9. Now it is Duppy in second place. Cameraman Tim getting a little bit confused there as Duppy goes a little bit too wide. Craig's going to be right on him now. And we did see Sly Pete having a little look in the mirror earlier on, missed judging that braking point and losing 3 positions. As Ashley in 12 goes wide and Craig now goes through. So Ashley's going to be side by side with Morris. But Morris will be on the inside for the kink as well as the R130R. So Ashley now down into 5th place. But Ashley is not done. He's having a little look around the outside. Can he send himself up here through the exit of turn number 17 and get a little slipstream through 19? And I'm pretty sure that Connor is quite happy out in front there by himself, staying away from the little traffic jam happening behind him. Craig goes a little bit wide out of turn 2.
Halfway through, keep it up.
So only 11 minutes left to go. So we'll have 5 laps. This is the beauty about the sprint racing. It is extremely difficult to make up these places if you do start losing them. And Ashley was right up the back of Morris, but unfortunately just not being able to get that power down coming up the Dunlop curve, which has allowed Morris to open just 0.3 of a second. And there's the race leader Connor going past, but Craig now 0.3 behind Duppy, who's got Morris 0.3 behind him, who has got Ashley 0.3 behind him. So we've got just over 1 second separating these 4 cars. And just grabbing a glimpse of the little battle that might be heating up soon, and that is between Sly Pete and Duncan, and then Nerdmaster down in 8th place. But let's just jump back to this extremely interesting race for second, third, fourth and fifth place. The car's weaving left and right. Looks like Morris has got a great drive coming out of the spoon curve. He's going side by side with Craig. Who's going to get onto the brakes the latest? Morris has a little look on the inside. Craig has to go around the outside, but Morris has made that move stick. An absolutely incredibly brave move there for Morris, throwing the car into turn number 15, but he has gone a little bit too deep into a Cassia corner, which has now allowed Craig to get an exit, and looks like Ashley and him are side by side now, trying to get that slipstream of Morris as they cross the start finish line to begin a lap at number 5. And Ashley getting himself ahead of Craig. It gets a little bit of a bump. Ashley manages to catch that as the rear just steps out, and you could hear that frantic gripping of that G29 in the background. But the positions have changed now once again. So Ashley in 4th, Craig now down to 5th, Morris in 3rd place. And Duppy in 2nd place has been able to just hang on to his own there. But he knows he's going to have a Morris who finished 2nd in the first heat, right on his tail, going to be breathing down his neck any moment. And O'Connor now opening 4.5 seconds is that gap between the battle behind him. And that is the problem when you start getting into these battles. So all 4 of the cars concertina up once again. As Duppy goes onto the brakes, Morris follows, Ashley just behind him, and Craig going through a turn number 12, hoping that he's able to just close up on Ashley a little bit. And it looks like Cutting Beef has been able to come into the party there as Craig goes a little bit wide. But now Duppy is going to be needing to fight for his right to power. No, I'm joking. As they head towards turn number 15, 0.3 of a second is the gap between Morris, and 0.1 between Ashley and Morris. Ashley stays on the outside. He's going to try and put it on the inside through the second phase of the chicane. There's a little touch.
No, we didn't touch.
Morris dropping it down into a 5th place. And Craig now up into 4th. 6.5 minutes left to go of this race. Race leader Connor now 5 seconds ahead, and that's side by side with Duppy.
Sorry, Duppy, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, man. This is... No. People don't race.
And that is Morris retiring from the race. It looked like he and Duppy came together. Which side we've got Connor leading the way, and another driver pulling out. So that is looks like Morris has now left the lobby with now Craig in the 3rd place. Duncan is up into 4th. Nidmaster 5th. Pete in a 6th place, and Duppy now down into 7th position. Craig 1.5 seconds is the gap there. Duncan 1.5 seconds in fourth place, so he might be able to put some pressure on the likes of Craig and possibly get himself up into a podium. But out in front, the youngster from Yugi, 7 seconds is the gap that he's been able to pull. So Craig going into turn number 8. You could just see how the drivers, excluding Duncan, attacking that inside curve on turn 8. But it does just destabilize the car a little bit, makes it a little bit tricky to keep that car going in a straight line. As Ashley goes deep, Craig is followed by Duncan. 1.8 seconds is that gap now, so he is starting to open up just enough of a gap so you won't have to be watching his rearview mirrors anymore. Craig is wide through the spoon. Ashley, what sort of lap times are you guys doing?
2:15s.
2:15s. Okay, so Connor did cross the line with about 2:15 to go. So let's see whether he'll just slow it down a bit and finish the race on this lap, or whether he'll push to do another one. So Connor now heads up to the hairpin. And I must say it is quite strange that the camera just waits momentarily for the cars to come through there. But we've got 1 minute left of racing to go. So Connor goes into the chicanes with 13 seconds, 12 seconds to go. So 5 seconds, and you can see in the map in the bottom, will he cross the line just in time?
Alright, man, the leader is on the final lap.
Yes,
So
the final lap.
1 more lap to go. It looks like he had just crossed the line before the time had run out. So we will have 1 more lap. So your race leader approaches the chicane for the last time.
We never made it.
That is so strange.
The race has been decided for us.
True story. Well, that puts Connor in first place, Ashley second, Craig third, Duncan in fourth, Nidmaster in fifth place with Pete in sixth, Dippy 7th, Morris 8th, Jakes and Rafiki unfortunately not finishing the last heat.
Well done, chaps.
Dippy, sorry about that. I just wait for the gap. And then you close the door, so. No, not for you, Connor. Thanks. Guys, if you want to take part, and look, we need some more drivers in the Assetto Corsa Championship, and it would be cool if we get some more guys joining us and participating. Please check out our website. It's www.sarcoracing.co.za. You can also watch us on YouTube and Facebook.
And guys, before we do a sign off, just one last message from our sponsors, that is Deliver Your Parcel. You are able to go check out their website. That is www.deliveryourparcel.co.za. All the details are in the link below, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Go and check them out. And this is their latest video. So guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Yos.
Cheers, guys.